Hi guys, welcome back to part 10. In the last part we talked to one of our suspects who is a police officer and worried about telling his squad that he is gay. He's getting married in 2 weeks, and in this part, who knows? So let's get into it. Continue. Okay, let's see. Do we have any more suspects? We really need to get some money. Let's go with her. Well, maybe I should have gone with her. She's kind of on the edge out there, but we'll go with her. Amelie Franconi. Okay. The passenger who enters your cab seems familiar to you. She gives you her address and you start to drive. You glance back at her from time to time, trying to remember where you've seen her before. It's no use. Suddenly she gives a little pout, clearly annoyed by your insistent gaze. Sorry, your face seems familiar to me. She breathes an audible sigh. Could be. She pauses deliberately. I'm in porn. Oh, that's who she is, an actress. A former actress. You'd seen her in a couple of movies a few years ago. That's probably why you recognize my face. Your mouth suddenly goes dry. Her eyes and voice show no sign of emotion whatsoever. She might as well have said she were a teacher or a dentist. You're not... Do you like it? A faint smile flickers across her face. Yes, I do, a lot. It's my job. I'm proud of what I do, actually. Though I'd be lying if I said it was always easy, but given the state of the industry nowadays. And even then, sometimes it's... An illuminated shop window catches her eye. She stops for a moment. Especially with the parents at my son's school, some of the fathers recognize me. She's watching you closely. Some of the mothers too, for that matter. She smiles. Usually I can see they're either amused or ashamed, which is too bad either way. I can imagine. Your eyes meet. A faint smile tugs at the corner of her mouth. You see? Can you imagine the talk? Interesting movie. Her voice is tinged with a subtle irony. She is used to having conversations like these. I don't think you can imagine. You probably think it's a pretty good job, that your work all day is about orgasms, climaxing, and pleasure. She sighs heavily. It's anything but intimate, anything but personal. You are naked in front of a film crew. Then there's this guy penetrating you, who isn't really looking into your eyes because otherwise he'll come too fast, or who's thinking about his wife and suddenly goes soft. She rolls her eyes. Or you have to stop in the middle of a doggy because the spotlight's been knocked over. And you have to pick up exactly where you left off 3 minutes later. And I'll spare you the details about all the rotten actors, all the aggressive, stupid assholes. You couldn't possibly imagine them either. She looks away. You sense she is being utterly honest. Afterwards, you know, she goes on with a faint smile. But that's no excuse for your lack of tact. The profession has changed a lot since then, and I want to bring about even more changes. She leans forward slightly. Before, actresses could count on working for a dozen years or so, 15 if they started young. They'd have a moment in the spotlight and then it was over. The next career step was merely a slow decline. But nowadays, actresses have power, thanks to the media, to streaming, and Twitter. She catches her breath. You can sense she is full of energy, electrified by the discussion. I started my own production company, and we make porn. She loves talking about it. You can see it in her face. Gender-positive porn, committed, respectful. Some call it feminist, but I'm not sure that's how I describe it. Her voice is calm. A gleam of passion lights up her eyes. We shoot with pros. We are respectful of our bodies and personalities. Our actresses and actors are paid well. They receive residual earnings. It's brand new, a first. It's fresh and it works. Zero tolerance when it comes to those dubious types, to wandering hands, to any assaults on the well-being of our actors and actresses. Respect, diversity, creativity. She lets out a sigh. I spend a lot of money defending our profession, going after sites illegally broadcasting our videos, making sure pirates are punished. Say nothing. She leans forward. But by the way, do you like that kind of porn? I'm just asking because I'm curious about what people like to watch. It's not really my thing. It's okay to talk about it, you know? Tell the truth. It's true, I hardly watch any. Hardly any? Yeah. You blush slightly. Come on, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Do you prefer younger women? Older women? No? Men? No. She leans back, an embarrassed smile playing across her lips. Alright, I'll stop bothering you with questions. You can't help reading in her eyes a touch of satisfaction, as if she'd enjoy asking you all those questions. Before long, you arrive at the address your passenger had given you. You have trouble parking. None of the street lights are working. There's nothing stranger than an unlit Parisian street in the middle of the night. Your client gives a sigh, a slight cough behind you. You wouldn't mind staying here until I'm in the building? They're doing work. The lights aren't working. She doesn't even finish her sentence. No problem. Thanks, I have to say I've been feeling a little insecure lately. All of her energy suddenly seems to have vanished. She hesitates a moment, as if she can feel your connection with the killer before speaking. I knew one of the victims of the serial killer. Natalie. I knew her pretty well, in fact. We'd worked together, and sometimes she babysat my son. You know, she was a great girl. She starts talking about her friend. Who she was, who she had been seeing, how she had changed just before she died. You make a mental note of the new information. I'll stay here until you're in the building, okay? Thank you. She hands you the fare and exits the cab slowly, crossing the street in total darkness to the door of her building. You remember that night. The pain, the stab of the knife in your side. If only you had turned your head, you would have seen your assailant's face. Maybe they would have killed you that night. Maybe your attacker would have already spotted you in your cab. Your passenger waves to you as the building door closes. You wave back. Fear spreads slowly through your body. You breathe in slowly and drive away. Okay? She's kind of on the outskirts, so let's pick her up. A fire truck flies down a cross street in front of you. It looks like a red meteor. Purva Rao. I'm headed to Charles de Gaulle Airport. Okay. Your next passenger is alone and waiting for you on the sidewalk. She gets in the cab and whispers, "Hello." She has no handbag or suitcase, just a small handmade sign with an Indian name printed on it. Charles de Gaulle, please. She is young, with a soft and slight accent. Her face shows no emotion. Her fingers play with a small little chain around her neck. It is the only piece of jewelry she has on. You drive, glancing back at her from time to time. Her head seems to be elsewhere. Everything all right, miss? She nods her head gently, cracking a tiny smile. It's really early. The first planes to come in are the worst. Everyone is exhausted and half asleep. Yes, exactly, and she sighs. I must confess, I don't really want to go there. A tiny smile lights her face up for a split second before disappearing. Family? My future husband. Well, future, I've never even met him. Her accent suddenly becomes stronger. You know this habit well. Just before confiding in you, passengers tend to relax into their natural accent. I'm sure he's a great guy, as they say here. Sadness appears in her voice. But I don't know him at all. My parents chose him. It's crazy, isn't it? Are you shocked? Yes. A sad smile washes briefly over her face. It's tradition, or at least it used to be. My parents are a bit old school, even by current standards in India. I chose to study here and not in England like my sisters. She flashes a smile. I fell in love with Paris and decided to stay. I almost never go home. Actually, this is home now. Anyway, my parents insist I meet him. He decided to make the trip, saying he had a meeting as a pretext. It's unacceptable. No, you don't understand. This is just the way things are. And I knew it would happen one day. They've been talking about it for ages. I try to avoid the subject. It's understandable from their perspective. I mean, it worked for them, right? You sense something bubbling up, anger, before she freezes. Some people refuse to let their emotions out. She slowly regains control of her body. What, day trips would you recommend outside Paris? Nearby? She nods. Versailles, of course, it's really beautiful, definitely worth it. Her face lights up. Oh, yes, perfect. I'm sure he'll like that. Or there's Fontainebleau? There's a huge park, very wild. If he likes hiking. I don't really know. She smiles shyly. You prefer to say nothing. The airport is not much further. Something about the young woman makes you feel uncomfortable. She looks as if she is about to scream but is holding it in. Time passes and silence fills the cab. Which terminal? Your question startles her. Terminal C. 2C, I think. It's supposed to be a nice day out today. A smile crosses her face and quickly disappears. Yes, I hope so. Thank you. You park the car in front of Terminal 2C. Your passenger grabs her sign and exits the cab. She pauses for a second as if she were about to say something. Then she disappears. Ooh, that's a good tip. Hello. Thank you. Ooh. Alright guys, I'm going to end part 10 there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.